Hello, I'm Kate White, your local independent estate and letting agent for Arborfield and the surrounding areas. In this video, I thought I would do a quick introduction to myself and my business in the hopes that at the end you'll get to know me a little bit better. I've decided to start a YouTube channel just because I find the short form content really difficult. The pressure gets to me and I can never say what I need to say in 30 seconds. So I'm really hoping that by making the videos longer, you'll get much more value from them. And also it's a lot more me. I could be a lot more relaxed and a lot more chatty. So a little bit about me. I was born in Reading and grew up in Shinfield before moving to Arborfield in 2009. I was very lucky though that both sets of my grandparents lived in Arborfield, so I feel like my whole childhood has been spent in the villages. And it was a really happy childhood for me. I still love that despite the fact that year on year the villages are growing and developing, that it still feels like home. It's very homely and has a lovely community feel. I went to Shinfield St Mary's Infant and Junior School before going on to Rice Green for secondary school. And most of my family are all still local. They still live around here and I'm from a really big family and I get to spend lots of time with them all, which is really lovely. I am an auntie. I have a niece and 3 nephews who I get to spend lots of time with and really enjoy spending time outside work with them. They were very excited when I started the business, and whenever one of my boards go up with my face, we always have to drive past and have a look, even though my eldest nephew threatens me all the time to deface them. Luckily, so far I've escaped, but I'm sure the time will come. Outside of work, I just love being outdoors. My whole life I've been around horses. I actually sold my horse in 2021 after an accident that I had a few years before that where I broke my ankle. So I now have 10 pins, and 2 plates in my left leg. So after a couple of years of recovery, I decided that it was time to hang up my riding boots. So since losing sort of that time outside, I've had to replace that with lots of walking, and I really enjoy going to the National Trust, mostly because the grounds and the walks are amazing, but I also love an old house. So getting to go and nose around the stately manors is just one of my favourite things to do. And luckily the children really enjoy it too. So that's a nice thing for us to do together. I'm also a personal development addict. I love reading, I love watching things on YouTube, and I just consume so much information that it's any wonder my memory is as bad as it is. My very most favourite place to go is Nirvana Spa. I like to spend a lot of time there just relaxing, and the hydrotherapy pool regularly puts my body back together, which is great. And I like to lounge about on the lounges, and that's a good opportunity for me to read all these personal development books that I usually have stacked up around the house everywhere. When I do have some downtime, I do enjoy watching reality TV. I know, but I generally try and keep it to the real estate type of shows on Netflix. So Selling Sunset, my favourite. Selling the OC, buying Beverly Hills, and recently buying London. And this week we've had a great announcement that Ryan Serhant, who originally did $1 Million Listing, is bringing out another show. So they are usually played on repeat in my house. So when I'm not spending time outdoors, I really love being at home. I'm trying to improve my cooking skills. So this year, that's one of my goals. So I like to be at home cooking and chilling out, just in making the most of my downtime. I really enjoyed my time at school, so I was woefully unprepared to leave. So after my GCSEs, I did go on to do my AS levels at Embrook for a couple of years, but I just never really settled in, and I knew that I was ready to get out there and start working. So I fell into childcare for a couple of years, and then in 2012, I decided that I wanted an office job. And so I fell literally into a role at Chancellor's Estate Agents as an administrator for their head office lettings team, and very quickly realised that I absolutely loved the industry and loved the job. And after 6 months I'd been promoted to negotiator and I'd won head office top performer, which was so great, and I had a great introduction into the life of estate agency. My job at Chancellors was to do all of the tenancy progression. So once the deal had been agreed with the landlord, it then came over to us and we did all the admin for the branch. I had a great team and we had a great time. It was a very busy workplace, and I think that's where I developed a lot of my work ethic. It was a constant churn of deals, and it was very, very fast paced. But I really enjoyed lettings. I really enjoyed working with the landlords and tenants, but we were never with them for long enough, really. It was very high volume, so we never got to know anybody and we didn't get to meet anybody. So it was quite an impersonal and very corporate service that we were giving. During that time, I got my level 3 qualification in residential lettings and property management, which was a great milestone to hit. And to this day, I am still a member of the Association of Residential Letting Agents. After 3 years, it was time to move on, and I was very fortunate to get a job working for Farley Estate as their estate office PA, and part of my role was to look after their portfolio of properties. So they had a mixture of residential and commercial, but at the same time I was helping with the dairy farm, the equestrian centre, the horse trial, so it was a really varied role. And it was the first opportunity for me to really be able to do things in a much nicer way. It was much more personal. I got to build a great relationship with the tenants and suppliers and contractors. And again, it was a very busy, very varied role, but it was nice to see how differently things could be done. After a couple more years, I moved on again to Maple Durham Estates. That was a slightly bigger estate with a bigger portfolio of properties. I was just ready to stretch my legs a little bit and to take the next step. So then I found myself managing 50 residential properties and some commercials. Again, with the estates, it's such a varied role. So I was involved with weddings and events. We had the last working watermill on the Thames and a dairy farm, and no 2 days were the same there at all. And again, I was very fortunate. I had a great time and loved every second of the job. On the property side, it was really varied because we were starting to do renovations. So it was my first chance to see a property renovation through from start to finish, which was great fun, and we uncovered some amazing things along the way. And my most favourite will always be when we uncovered a well, which was 80 foot deep and flint lined, and it was so beautiful, and we were able to turn it into a feature in the garden for the tenants. So that was one of my favourite memories. But I really enjoyed doing the cottages up and seeing them transform into really lovely rental homes, and the feedback we had from the new tenants was great. We had our own maintenance team, so it was the first time really that I'd been able to get stuck in with the proactive maintenance as well as the reactive maintenance, and I learnt so much on the property maintenance side of things, what to look for, how to fix things, and actually how to educate tenants and in the future landlords on what sort of things they need to be looking out for. And then after 4 years, I decided I wanted to go back into property. My time at Maple Durham was split very much between all of the activities, and I decided that I wanted to go back into property full time. So I came back to the high street to a small independent branch in Winnersh called Property Assistant, and I had a great time with them. It was very short because after 6 months I decided that I wanted to set up on my own, but they gave me so much experience. It was my first real experience of sales from an agency point of view. I'd been involved in sales at both of the estates, but it was my first real sales agency experience, and I worked with a really lovely team and just had a great time. And really that was what gave me the confidence then 6 months later to decide that it was now or never. I've always known that I really wanted to do my own thing, but I was never really sure when the right time would be or what that would look like for me. So in August last year I discovered EXP through one of my lovely long-term connections. I'd met Claire a few times over the years at various different conferences and trainings, and she spent so much time with me going through everything that EXP offered and how it works and how much she was enjoying her time with them and what a successful business she had built. So then officially in mid-September, Kate White's Powered by EXP was born. And it was such an exciting time, but also I just knew that it was the right thing for me. I decided to partner with EXP because honestly, I have never ever known generosity like it. Initially from the time that Claire spent talking to me to then once I was onboarded, so many of the other agents had called me and offered words of advice, and it really has been set up in a way where collaboration and community is really at the heart of the whole business. So it's more like a brokerage type system. So EXP are at the top, they make sure that we're compliant, they provide the tech and the access to the portals, but then as agents we are left to completely run our businesses ourselves. So whilst mid-September I had left my job and I was ready to go, I didn't really start trading until November. There was a lot of work that went into getting everything set up. So November the 1st was officially my launch date. So we are just over 8 months in now and I have had the best time. I've had some amazing conversations with lots of lovely local people. Currently my first sale is going through. I've completed one letting, I have one more going through at the moment, and I've got 2 other properties on the market. It's all going really well. I'm really enjoying it, and I know this is 100% the right path for me. Independent means that I can do everything in the way that I feel is best for each client and each person and each home, which was the main reason for wanting to set up by myself. I want to give a really personal service, and when you work with me, I am with you the whole way through. So it's right from the very first call that you make to say you're considering putting your house on the market to rent or to sell, right through I do all of the viewings and then all of the sales progression on to handing the keys over to the next lucky person that gets to live there. And that really lights me up. I like having control, I like knowing where everything is, and I really love building relationships with people. So I want everybody that I help to know how much I care about them and know that I care about getting them moved. And I think that really helps the process be as smooth as possible. My 3 core values of the business are service excellence, integrity, and honesty, and they are 3 values that I live my life by. Giving an excellent service is something that is so important to me. And again, another reason why I set up on my own, because I know then that I have full control over delivering that. To do that, I only work with a limited number of clients at any one time to ensure that everybody gets the same service. Openly communicating any of the methods and timings that suit people. I don't just work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So if I receive calls or messages outside of working hours, then I can always get back to you a lot quicker than if you had to wait until the following working day or after the weekend. I do have to sleep though, so I can't promise a 24/7 answering service, but I will get back to you as soon as possible. One of my biggest pet peeves is that when you go onto Facebook, onto any of the groups, there's always someone on there that says, I've sold my house, or I'm just about to sell my house. Can anyone recommend a conveyancing solicitor or a surveyor or a moving company? And I really feel like as an agent that that's my job, not just for people that I am helping to move, but if anybody ever needed anything, I'd be more than happy to make recommendations. So I've spent a lot of time over the last 8 months trying to build my network of reliable, professional and trustworthy contractors and connections. So I offer residential sales and lettings and property management. And the same for all 3 of them, whether you're selling, letting, or whether you need an agent to manage your property, you get me the whole way through, including the property management. I'll be the one answering the phone at 3 a.m. when your tenants have come home from the airport and have locked themselves out of the house, or Christmas Day when their oven breaks. They're all my favourites. Or a common one used to be the heating would break just over the Christmas break as well, but I can take the stress away from you as a landlord and handle all of those issues with you. And thankfully, I have built a really great network of contractors over the years who will also support you with that too. I'm so grateful for all of the support so far, and if you've made it this far through this video, then you deserve a cup of tea, so go and treat yourself. And there'll be lots more to come because I really want to help everybody that's moving in my community to have a really enjoyable experience. So if you or anyone you know is looking to buy, sell or rent a property in Arborfield or the surrounding areas, I would love to help. Thank you for watching.